Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, whether you're tuning in on your community station in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM. We welcome you all back to our program, as well as tuning in through iHeartRadio.com. We're glad to have all of you with us as well. Shawn Prez is with us today to talk to us not only about this year's 2018 Global Spin Awards, but also what it's been like for him to see the response to the rewards over the years, but also the achievements that he's been able to highlight with those DJs that have made such an impact when it comes to music. We'll talk a little bit about some of those who are being honored this year, as well as how you all can find out about this year's nominees. Shawn, hello to you, and welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, glad to do it. Shawn, I know this is a busy time for you with the awards quickly coming up in February, so there's a lot that's been going on. I mean, what has it been like for you, though, to reflect, Shawn, on not only the success of the Global Spin Awards, but also what it's been like for you to see how it's grown from year to year?
Well, I think I'm probably more amazed than anyone else. When you have an idea and it's your idea and you say to yourself, hey, I think that this could work. I think that there's a void in the marketplace. I think that this is something that people will appreciate. People have ideas every day of the week. Acting on it and getting others to believe in it is a whole different story. So as the awards continue to grow over the years, and I look back and thinking of the small rooms that we used to do the awards in, to now being recognized on not just a national platform but also international, and having so many of the DJs really look at this as their Grammys or their Academy Awards. It's amazing to me.
Right, for sure. And I'm so glad you said this, because when I first found out about the Global Spin Awards, Shawn, the first thing I thought about was we don't really hear a whole lot about the DJs being recognized. I mean, and you bring up a really interesting point, because it's very easy to have an idea or a thought. It's totally a different thing to be able to do the work, to be able to bring something to a reality. What gave you the courage to be able to say, not only was there a void, but this is a void that I want to be instrumental in helping to fill?
A great question on your end. I think for me, for Shawn, the person, I'm always, fear is my greatest fear. When I get a thought in my mind, there's always good thoughts, bad thoughts, and it's like, should I do this? Is it worth diving in? A thought is a really good thought for me. And I find myself holding back, and I can identify that it's only because of fear. That is something that I would never let myself do, or I would never give myself the excuse not to do it just because of fear. And whenever for us, when we started this thing, you're putting your name on the line, you're putting years of your reputation and your experience and your relationships on the line. We had no idea if anyone would see the visual, would appreciate what we were doing. And you don't want to put something out there to the world and everybody's like, what a big waste of time. Or they come and they're like, this was not what we expected. But, just my personality, I had to push it through because I knew that the idea was right. I knew it was something that could catch on, and the only thing that was holding me back was fear at the time, and I just had that's just not a good enough reason for who I am.
Yeah. We talk a lot on this program, Shawn, about the old Field of Dreams adage, if you build it, they will come. I mean, and I think a lot of times when we think about these things, I mean, unless someone does step up and actually do it, that need or that void will never be filled. And so you also brought up about this isn't just something that's been recognized now around the country, but now around the world. I mean, how does that feel to know that you are able to recognize, some of the top DJs in the world through the Global Spin Awards?
it's an amazing feeling, but it's not just that. What's amazing to me is not that we're able to recognize it. It's that the DJs themselves are working hard year over year, and they want to be recognized by us. They're the ones who, when they're putting in the work and they're out there and they're making the music and playing the music and they're playing at these different clubs and venues and festivals, Global Spin is now something that they're thinking about. They're hoping that their work is being noticed by our bureau. So that alone is incredible. But I'll tell you one other thing that, to me, even trumps that. I am starting to receive so many younger and up-and-coming DJs who now they have their Grammys, they have their Academy Awards. They are inquiring about how can we get recognized by the Global Spin Awards. When they get their first set of turntables that they're doing really like local small bars and small clubs or small radio stations, it's a new generation of DJs who have not become famous yet, but now they have the aspiration and the goal that one of the accomplishments that they want to have is to one day receive a Global Spin Award. And that, to me, is just amazing.
Right. I think that is so true. And I think, again, it gives everyone an opportunity to have their work recognized and give them something to strive for, and to know that they have the Global Spin Awards to be able to be that thing for them, to be able to strive to be a part of. For those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome Shawn Prez to our program today. He's the founder of the Global Spin Awards. It's gearing up for this year's event that's going to be taking place in February. We're going to be letting you all know the website where you can see this year's nominees and find out more information about the awards. One of the other things that you've been very instrumental in doing, Shawn, when it comes to this award is recognizing, as you just said, those who are, pioneers, but also those who are making their mark. This year, you're going to be honoring some amazing individuals. I mean, I think that the other great thing that you've been able to show people through the Global Spin Awards is that we have to be willing and ready to give honor where honor is due. That even though there's a lot of people today that are doing great things, there are people like Jermaine Dupri, people like Timbaland who really paved the way. Was that kind of why you knew you wanted to be able to have those lifetime achievement recognitions, to be able to show that these people really did help us get where we are today?
Absolutely. It's funny because the older I get, the more I appreciate life and the more I appreciate I look back over my career and it's natural to want to get the flowers while you can still smell them, or get the accolades while so often when people are dead and gone, everyone sits around and say, oh, this was such a beautiful person and this, that, and the third. But, I think us just in the human race, we really need to acknowledge people's good works while they can still hear and appreciate it themselves. So yes, when we created these Lifetime Achievement Awards and Breaking Barriers Awards, it was to really pay homage to the men and women who paved the way for so many of these DJs who are now, making millions and millions of dollars doing what they love to do. So many of these guys who, Jermaine Dupri and obviously Timbaland, they have made amazing careers for themselves and made a lot of money. But, we've honored people in the past who I'm sure they must feel like the way Michael Jordan feels when he sees what Kobe Bryant or James Harden or any of these guys' salaries are making these days. Although he was the one who really paved the way, his salary compared to theirs are much different. So, right. For someone like Timbaland, who's done so much for music, not just hip-hop, but for music, where he's been able to come from a hip-hop background and produce some of the biggest hits, but ultimately he started as a DJ. He continues to this day to DJ, and everything that he's done, all of his success, he attributes back to those turntables, how to make a beat, what songs really captivate people. Same thing for Jermaine Dupri. This guy has been making hit records since he was a teenager himself. His first, Diamond album, I think, with Criss Cross, Jermaine Dupri was 21 years old. and he attributes it all to his roots as a DJ. So absolutely.
Yeah. And as you are now, as I said, gearing up for this year, we're able to honor those individuals and, of course, present the other awards for this year, Shawn. You also are experiencing another big move. I noticed when I was prepping for the segment, one of the things that you mentioned was kind of explaining the move to Los Angeles this year. I mean, how does that feel, though, to know that, as I heard you say in an interview, I mean, that's where when we think about a lot of the major award shows, we think about Los Angeles. How does it feel now to be able to bring Global Spin to LA as well?
It feels like, when you're an entrepreneur, when you're someone who creates new business and new ideas and bring ideas to life, it's never done, but in some ways it does feel like mission accomplished. It feels like goal achieved. This is for us. We modeled ourselves after the biggest and the best award shows out there. We wanted to be taken serious on those levels, and when this is the home of all of the major award ceremonies. Us finally having the credibility and the notoriety and having the respect from the industry and the DJs themselves to be able to move it out to LA, where the Oscars are, where the Grammys are, where the Golden Globes and all of the other wonderful award shows that we watch year over year. I think that this achievement for us, it really, I mean, we have a lot more work to do. We're never going to stop trying to enhance the show and take it to bigger heights and bring it to the masses. But for us, in a lot of ways, it feels like a pat on the back moment, like we did it, we arrived.
Right. And I think as people look for, this year's event, I mean, they also look at you, and I want to widen the scope a little bit of this conversation, Shawn, for a moment. We're going to come back and let our audience know how they can find out more details about this year's nominee. I want to talk about you as an individual, because I asked you earlier about, how have you, not allowed, the fear of this undertaking to stop you from doing it after you had the idea. I mean, have you always been a person that was driven to be able to, when you saw something that you wanted to be able to go after it and to do the work necessary to kind of see it through?
The short answer to that is yes. It's interesting because we are who we are. I just look at myself as Shawn. But when I hear people describe me, people who really know me from my mom and really close friends who are lifelong friends, one thing remains very consistent when they talk to me or they talk about me. When I have my mind locked on something, it's almost OCD-ish. I have to see it through. As far as I know, is like I said earlier, fear is an enemy of mine. I just can never allow fear to be an excuse for me not seeing something through. So it doesn't surprise me that I jumped out the window and put it all on the line for something like Global Spin Awards. But prior to Global Spin Awards was starting, quitting a very lucrative job. Many people may not know this about me, but I was one of the original staff members and worked with Sean Diddy Combs for over 20 years with Bad Boy Records and helping to build up not just his records department, but many of the entities that people know today, whether it's Ciroc Vodka or Sean John Clothing, so on and so forth. So for me to go out there and start my own business, and from doing my own business, I've managed several artists and all of that good stuff. This is just who I am. So in some ways. In all ways, no. It doesn't surprise me that I really started this thing, but that's just who I am as a person.
Right. And we were talking about this year's honorees with Timbaland and Jermaine Dupri and how people have been influenced by them. Have you gotten used to the idea at this point, considering what you have achieved, Shawn, that you are an example for people as well in the work that you do as to not only what's possible, but also what it takes to be able to reach what they consider the success that they say they want?
Say that again. I'm so sorry. I didn't catch the question.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, have you gotten used to the idea that you are an example, just like Jermaine Dupri and Timbaland are examples in their respective fields as to what's possible with the hard work and the dedication? Have you gotten used to you being an example for people as to what they can achieve and what it takes to be able to achieve the success they say they want?
No, actually, no. I just look at myself as Shawn. I look at the drive and in all of the achievements that we've had, and I typically say we because it's just when you build these things, it's a team. It's not just Shawn. It literally I'm the face. I'm at the head of the table, but at the end of the day, there are so many other individuals that I have to give credit to, who believe in the dream when no one else can see it. But I haven't got used to people looking at me as a role model, or people looking at me as someone who's, if he did it, then I can do it. Because at the end of the day, in my head, I'm not even scratching the surface of where I want to go in my career. I haven't even scratched the surface of where I want the Global Spin Awards to be. Long after I'm dead, gone, people forget who the founder of these awards are. I want the awards to live on to where it's the 88th annual Global Spin Awards. I have no idea who created the Grammy Awards, but I know, they're up to, the 100th annual or whatever, but right. And that's what I want for the Global Spin Awards.
Yeah. Last thing I'll mention, then we're going to remind our audience about how they can find out more information about this year's awards. And that is, I noticed with the nominees, social media is so much a part of our lives today, Shawn. And of course, even with the Global Spin Awards, it's no different. I noticed when I was looking at the 2018 nominees, you have it very easy for people to be able to share it on Facebook, Twitter, to be able to let people know who's nominated. Of course, to let the nominees be able to do the same thing. How has social media helped you along the way of growing the Global Spin Awards, and as well as getting the word out about it?
I'd say, and if I had to put it in order, I'd say the DJs themselves were first in terms of really carrying this banner, carrying the torch, and going out and saying, hey, we finally have our Grammy Awards. But second has been social media, and the DJs use the social media. And I'll never forget, the first year we ever did this, and you gotta think, Global Spin Awards is Global Spin Awards now. Everyone knows. Well, I'm not going to say everyone, but they're not what they was 6 years ago when we first started it. But the DJs acted as such ambassadors for the brand, using their social platforms and really reaching out to their constituencies and saying, hey, I'm honored to be nominated and recognized in this category. And it's so funny because, let's say year 1, year 2, year 3, it was only the DJs posting and using their platforms to brag and to say, hey, I've been nominated. And then we saw a turn. You see these arcs start to happen. The awards started to pick up steam. People started to know about the awards. The awards started to become very credible. So then it wasn't only the DJs who were posting, but let's just say if a DJ worked for a radio station, now the radio station was bragging, hey, we have 2 of our DJs from, WXYZ who are nominated for Global Spin Awards. Then I saw something else happen. A lot of these DJs produce records for major artists, and and not only do they produce records, but they play so many of these artists' records. The artists started to get in on this and say, hey, my good friend such and such was nominated for, a Global Spin Award. And it started to shoot out through this social space that now, it's become much greater than I could ever thought. But social media has played, I would say, outside of DJs themselves, that is the number one driver of publicity for them.
Right, for sure. And the last thing I'll mention, Shawn, and again, I do appreciate the time, is you're going out of your way to make sure that the female DJs are recognized. There is a category for the female DJ of the year. Talk to us about the importance of that, because we don't hear a lot when we talk about DJs. I've noticed here, even in my home state of Mississippi, that the female DJs, even though there's not a lot of them here in Mississippi, they definitely don't get the recognition that they are deserving. I mean, why was that important for you to make sure there was a category to make sure they are recognized?
You know, when I created this award ceremony, you know, I never looked. This was for the DJ. It never was genre based. It was never, a lot of people. Obviously, we have a lot of hip hop and urban DJs who are nominated year over year. But it doesn't, to me, it never mattered what kind of music you played. It didn't matter your background. It was, are you a DJ and are you doing your thing to really uphold what a DJ does in terms of breaking records, playing records. And when you think about it in its simplest form, you know, you have to include the female DJs because there's so many of them who you know, don't get recognized. You know, people look as a male-driven profession, and for me it was like, no, there are female DJs out there who are doing their thing, and they have to be there has to be a category exclusive to them. Now here's the flip side to that. I remember when we first created the category, I had a lot of female DJs hit me and say, look, Shawn, I want to be recognized as a DJ. I don't like just having a category that's exclusive to the female DJ. You know, so we got a little bit of backlash from the female DJs themselves, but my response to that was simple. You know, yeah, we have to have a female DJ category, but that doesn't exclude you or anyone else from being nominated in any of the other categories that are there. There's no quote-unquote male DJ of the year. It's DJ of the year, or if it's club DJ of the year. And if you look at a lot of those categories, there are many female DJs who have been nominated in other categories outside of female DJs of the year.
Right. So I tell you, but you know, again, it does show how the Global Spin Awards is inclusive, as well as to make sure, as we mentioned at the beginning of this, Shawn, that DJs around the world that are doing the work are definitely being recognized, and they have the Global Spin Awards to be able to do just that. Again, everyone, Shawn Prez has been our guest for this segment. Great conversation with you, Shawn. He's the founder of the Global Spin Awards, who's gearing up for this year's event taking place on Thursday, February the 15th. You all can go to the website at www.globalspinawards.com. There you can find out more information about the award itself, as well as this year's nominees. You can see more about, of course, those that are being honored, as we mentioned, like Timbaland and Jermaine Dupri. Jermaine Dupri is also up for some other awards for this year's event. You all can take a look at that, as well as see the other nominees that are taking place there. Shawn, where's the best place for our audience to stay connected with you as well?
You know, interestingly enough, I personally don't have social media, so I would say, you know, stay connected with me through globalspinawards.com, and I'll get back to you guys. But, you know, I don't have I don't indulge in social media.
Okay, look, you have a lot going on, so I think we can definitely understand that. So definitely globalspinawards.com. You all take a look there, and really appreciate the time, Shawn, and looking forward to our next conversation. And
please follow us. Ask your audience to please follow us at Global Spin Awards and at Global Spin 365.
Okay. You heard the man, so make sure you all definitely follow them to stay connected with the updates there. And Shawn, again, congratulations to you, man, and looking forward to talking with you about the 2019 awards as well.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate this conversation.
Hey, man, glad to do it. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. If you all came in late, you missed part of the conversation with Shawn, don't worry. Thanks to our online friends, you all can catch the replay right after we go off the air. The link is already available through our social media site, so head over to facebook.com/Cyrus Webb or go to twitter.com/Cyrus Webb. If you click on the link there, you can listen to the show completely for free and share with your friends from there, too. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. You all make it a great one.